What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to the second half of the Christian J Show. Now, I know we have been off for 2 weeks, and let me just say, these 2 weeks were very much needed. There was a lot of things going on with my mental health, and a lot of things just happened in my life, so I had to just step away for a while to focus, to regroup, to get my faith back on track. I don't know how many listeners I have that believe in God or you believe in something, but you know when your faith is kind of shaky, you have to seek God. And that's what I did. I had to seek Him. I had to just go ahead and stop everything, just go to Him and talk to Him. I could not keep going when I know my mental health was messed up, my faith was shaky. I couldn't keep going, knowing all of that was going on. So that's why I took 2 weeks off. But now I am back, and I'm ready to go ahead and give y'all some more episodes to this season, okay? So, when we last left off, we ended the season in the first half of the season with our last TV show review, which was Grey's Anatomy. But this time, this half of the season, we're on movies. And I'm not talking about your average movie that is out now. I'm talking about movies that have been out for like a good 1, 2, or 3, or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, many years. So, the first movie I want to talk about is one I think everyone should know. And I feel like everyone had an opinion about this movie. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I keep saying Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but it's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But like I said, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, dog, right? Hey, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, when I tell y'all, this movie was garnered with a mix of reactions. Some people found it thrilling. It was visually impressive film. Others criticized the plot, the pacing, the character portrayals. Many fans expressed their disappointment with the multiverse aspect, feeling that it wasn't explored enough. And what I gotta say to that part is, I feel like it wasn't explored enough, but I feel like they did enough to like open up to say, okay, yeah, we're exploring the multiverse now. We're not going to go fully into depth with the multiverse, because we all know that I think this new phase of Marvel that's coming out is going to be dealing with the multiverse. I don't know. I forget at this point. I don't know. I forgot what phase we on. Like, I've literally forgotten what phase we are on, so. But I think that there is a Marvel Avengers movie that's coming out, not next year or the year, not Doomsday, and not Secret Wars. I think they said something about Avengers Multiverse Saga, Avengers Multiverse, something to do with the multiverse and the Avengers. That's all I remember seeing. So I feel like with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I feel like they didn't explore the multiverse enough, because they're gonna explore it, go like fully into depth with it throughout this new phase. Now that's just what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that they're going into this new phase, and they're gonna be exploring the multiverse more than what they did in Multiverse of Madness. And then some people say that they found it like like a horror movie, kind of like horror elements were forced. Because now if we are being honest, that scene where Wanda had got out that mirror thing, and she had she was like a contortionist. You know how they could twist their body into different type of ways, and the way she had got back out that hill, cracking back. I said, Laura, what is this? I'm like, Lord. I'm like, what y'all got going on, Marvel? MC, what you got going on? Because this ain't my typical Marvel movie. But I still enjoyed it though. Like, Doctor Strange Multiverse. It took me a while to watch it. I think I watched it, was it last year? Nope. In 2023. I think that's when I watched it. If I'm being 2023. Yeah, 2023. That's when I actually sat down and watched it, because I was waiting to watch. I was putting it off anyway, because I said 2023 is gonna be like my year to watch all Marvel movies from phase 1 to whatever phase this is. Anyway, now others criticized the portrayal of Wanda Maximoff. She plays Scarlet Witch. Well, she's Scarlet Witch. We all should know who Wanda is. Who plays Wanda? Elizabeth Olsen, Ashley Olsen and Mary Kate Olsen's sister. They felt like her descent into villainy was poorly handled, or she was unfairly villainized. Honestly, I kind of agree, but then I don't kind of agree. I feel like it was kind of forced. No, not forced. It was poorly handled. But then, on the other hand, I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of see her being like the villain of this movie. But I'm sitting there like, okay, what's going on? Now, these criticisms, these are, some people have some criticisms about this. The Wonder Woman Multiverse, like I said, they felt like it didn't deliver the promise of exploring the multiverse extensively. Like I said, I feel like they just introduced it, but they didn't go into. I mean, the multiverse has been here, but I feel like Mom had kind of introduced some more universes, and they say, well, okay, we're not going to go fully into depth with these multiverses because we have other things coming up, other phases coming up, so we might go deeper in depth in that. They said the plot was described as chaotic and the pacing was uneven, with some finding it hard to follow. Honestly, I agree with that because I found it a little bit hard to kind of follow. But then I was like, okay, yeah, I'm back on track. But then I was like, okay, what's going on? Because at the beginning I was kind of got off. I'm like, now I remember I watched Doctor Strange. Wasn't him and Regina George together? I was like, when they together? Cause I'm sitting there like, okay. I remember I watched it. When they together or something? At this point, I don't question nothing at this point. There's some of them said that, like I said, they were saying that it ruined the established characters, particularly Wanda, by making her irredeemable, and forcing her to a villain role without proper justification. Okay, I feel like this one is kind of wrong. It was kind of justified. To be honest, she kind of justified. She lost her husband, lost her kids. At this point, who wouldn't be upset? Who wouldn't be upset? This girl lost everything. I mean, I kind of felt like they was like making this kind of like bringing her up to be a villain, but to be, I don't want to say it, be a villain, but she's able to be a hero as well. She's like one of those people that can be a hero and can be a villain. If you know, you know. So like this girl lost her brother. She lost vision. Actually, she lost her parents. She lost her home. She lost vision. She lost her brother. She lost her children. She lost Natasha. She lost her and Hawkeye really ain't talking like they don't talk like that like they used to. This girl ain't got nobody. So yeah, I kind of see why she was a villain, to be honest. But I don't feel like she was actually the main villain. Now, to me, I don't feel like she was like the main villain. And of course, it would not be an MCU project, and it would not be a review of the MCU if I don't talk about the CGI, because we all know everyone talks about the CGI, whether it's in a show or a movie. Everyone always talks about the CGI because that's what they can only focus on. They forget a good key part in that movie for them to understand what is going on in that movie, because they are so focused on the CGI that they don't even understand what else is going on. Now, we'll say the visuals was good. The visuals were good. There was a little parts of the CGI where it was like some mistakes, but overall it was fine for me. I liked it. Now, this, as I said, the Illuminati was fan service. The inclusion of the Illuminati was seen by some as hollow fan service moment, lacking the impact or payoff one might expect. To me, it seemed like fan service, because what now, not that, but with like reading everybody, what was that for? Because I've seen people make fan cast of John Krasinski as reading everybody like, oh yeah, and I got my fan cast, I'm like, okay, well, what's the point of even bringing him on if he was just going to be there for those basically 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, how many ever minutes he was there? Like, what was the point of bringing him on if he was just going to die? Because, I mean, that's what it was. It really didn't give anything that I thought it was going to, like, oh, a big moment. We have Reed in here. Now, if it was a real fan cast moment, I feel like they should have got, I can never say his name, 2005, Reed Richards, Young Growth. I feel like I said his name wrong. I probably did. I always butchered that man's name up. But y'all know who I'm talking about. I feel like if it was based on like fan service and bringing a beloved person back, then they probably should have went with him. Nothing against John Krasinski. I'm just saying, if they want to do like a big old fan thing, bring him back. That's just me. Now, some people argue that Wanda's portrayal, while controversial, adds depth and complexity to the character, exploring, good God, the consequences of grief and trauma. Like I said, that's one of the main reasons I love Wanda. I don't always like Wanda fans, because we all know how Wanda fans get. Basically, we all know how every MCU fan gets. We all know, if I'm not going to single out Wanda fans, we all know how rowdy and lively every MCU fan gets. So, not going to single out Wanda fans. when we saw WandaVision coming out to those last episodes, and we saw Wanda with the paper, and she was going to Westview, and was imagining her vision in their home, and she just basically just made a hex and cursed everybody in that town, and it made a vision come true. I feel like that's, and then we seen at the end how she was like, I can't stay here, I gotta go, basically, blah, 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 bye, see you later, deuces, I'm out of here. And to see her, that part where she was fighting America Chavez, and it went to that part where the other Wanda, the other variant of Wanda, was with her kids. And this Wanda just broke down and cried, and because her children was afraid of her. That, I will always say, that was like one of the best scenes in that movie. And then when the other Wanda, the other variant of Wanda came up and just like held her head, held her face, cupped the cheek and all that, I was like, this is like the best scene out of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Like, this is the best scene. Elizabeth Olsen, the actress you are. That's, like, I can't even express how brilliant that scene was. We got to see Wanda was, like, so mad. She was fighting, man. She wanted America to get her to her children. She wanted her children. And then when she finally saw them and they ran away from her, and she just like kind of like saw that they didn't want her. And the way she just broke down and she just allowed herself to be vulnerable for that moment. That's, you don't get to see that in, like, Marvel movies all the time. You don't even get to see that in, like, superhero movies all the time. I mean, you'll see it in, like, some movies, some superhero movies, but you don't see that all the time. And that's why I feel like we need to start seeing more in these superhero movies. Like, show a vulnerable side of these heroes, these villains, especially the villains, because we all know these villains can be, like, so hard. Not like, boom, bam, I know, I hate you. Pop, 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 pop. I'm going to blow this up, do this. And then we don't know what's going on. Why they're doing this. What's their motive behind doing this. If you get what I'm saying. But Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness was a divisive film with strong opinions on both sides. So when I watched it and when I read like some other people's reviews on it to see what everybody else was saying, because I wanted to make sure I give an accurate view, and I wanted to express some people's side of it, and then other people's side of it, like the ones that loved it, the ones that said that they thought it could have been a little bit better, and the ones that just didn't find it to be good. I wanted it to be accurate, so I just keep thinking about that scene though with Wanda and her children. Like that was one of my favorite scenes. Like, and to be honest, some people was like, it didn't have that many multiverse scenes in there. Like we saw like a couple of like multiverses where, There was one, I think it was like everything was upside down or something. Or something was going on. Like there was something going on. I forgot. So, but I feel like they could explore the multiverse a little bit more, though. Some people said that the characters were a mess, the writing was a mess, the pacing was a mess, the plot and the stakes were a mess, the action was uninspired. Like a lot of people had a lot of criticism to say. Like this one person was like everything I just said, writing was a mess, character was a mess, pacing was a mess, the plot and the stakes were a mess, the action was uninspired, the magic system has no rules, it makes no sense. All the characters who are supposed to be the smartest act like morons for no reason. The entire movie is and then not because it's another garbage phase 4 Marvel product that is mediocre or inoffensive at first glance, but as soon as you start to think, the entire movie crumbles apart. Now I know good with this person to not say Back to the Future and Indiana Jones have actual effort put into the story, writing, characters, and worth building. Now I know they ain't did that. Now I know they did not compare Indiana Jones to Back to the Future to a Marvel product. Like, let's be for real now. Back to the Future and Indiana Jones have actual effort put into the story, characters, writing, and world building. A story is a telling of events that all connect together in a logical way, not a couple of neat scenes divided by large chunks of nonsense. Now, like, come on now. Like, you could say the writing was bad, the characters was bad, all this, that, and the third, but to sit up and say Back to the Future Indiana Jones have put actual effort into the story. Like, I've seen some people say bad stuff about Indiana Jones, like it's not that good. That's what I've seen now. I ain't saying that it's good or it's not good. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I have seen people say that. Okay, so let's not twist my words. And I do like this this review right here of somebody. They said the reasons it's getting mixed reviews is because the film can have two completely different audiences. For those who are fond of MCU and have watched WandaVision, Loki, No Way Home, and are waiting for the next big thing, and it's told as a story we've been waiting on to be told, and it's amazing. For those who are casual superhero watchers, I imagine this doesn't make a lot of sense or give a reason to care what's going on. There's also the fact that this was the first horror-themed Marvel film, when all previous ones weren't so horror if you don't like horror. Now, I'm gonna say this. While that person might be correct, they have like two completely different audiences. I do feel like if you are a casual Marvel fan, or I would say like this, casual superhero fan, I feel like you will probably understand this movie. Even with the horror aside, if they did not have the whole horror kind of like theme in it, I feel like you still would have understood it. I feel like for the first part, you have watched like WandaVision, Loki, No Way Home. I feel like you're trying to sit there wait for the next big thing. All of these, it came after Endgame. And I have always said this. I feel like most people have waited for the next Marvel movie or the next Marvel project to be as big as Endgame. I feel like these people are sitting there trying to wait for Marvel to drop their next Endgame, and no movie or no show that they're putting out is living up to that hype. Not saying that the show and the movie is not good. I'm just saying that it's not going to achieve the level of, how I want to put it, the level of hypeness that Endgame got. Because Endgame we had the Avengers, then Avengers Age of Ultron, then Avengers Infinity War, then Avengers Endgame. We had that whole thing. We had that whole quadruple force. And when you have a big quadruple force of movies, like, thing wrapped together, and then you're thinking, okay, well, after this, after Endgame, the next thing that Marvel's putting out, oh, it's just gonna be just as big, it's gonna be just as good. And then when it's not, then now it's like, oh, it's so bad. I never liked, oh my God, Marvel, what are you doing? MCU, what are you doing? You're not good anymore. I feel like when you have this preconceived notion that everything is going to hit Endgame status, and then it doesn't, now all of a sudden now Marvel isn't, they fell off, they're not putting out anything good. Just like with No Way Home, everyone was hyped for No Way Home, because everybody was like, oh yeah, we're getting Andrew Spider-Man, and we're getting Toby Spider-Man. Like, people couldn't even wait till the movie came out until they started putting it on social media. And then you have like regular Marvel fans that say, okay, well, we're gonna watch it. And then they're like scrolling on TikTok, and then you see like, okay, here's a spoiler. And now you just might just like, okay, scroll. But then the inkling feeling like, okay, I need to see what happens. And then you go back, boom, we have the movie spoiled. The big part of the movie where, okay, Andrew Garfield returns as Spider-Man, Peter Parker. That whole part was like spoiled for everyone, because people were filming it on social media, and they put it out on social media. And then when you have people like, why did you do that? Why did you put it out? And they're like, oh, well, you need to stay off social media then. No. Why are you telling everyone that's not in the movie theater to stay off social media, when you inside the movie theater need to stay off social media? Okay, at least have a brain and be considerate for others, okay? Like, Multiverse of Madness was good. It probably wasn't for everybody. But that doesn't mean that everything was wrong about the movie. Like I've always said, I feel like people are still expecting Marvel to the MCU to come out with something that's going to achieve Endgame status. And when it doesn't, now they don't want to support nothing that Marvel and the MCU puts out. Like, okay, like She-Hulk. I said this in my other episode talking about She-Hulk. Like I said, people were upset over She-Hulk. So, oh, it's not good. It's never going to be good. They didn't even give She-Hulk a chance. Like, they didn't even give the show a chance. They were like, oh, no, it's not good. And people were like, okay, when did you stop watching it? The first episode. Okay, you just judged off the first episode. You didn't try to see what the second episode, or third, or fourth, or fifth episode was going to bring. You just judged off the first episode. And like this new show, Ironheart, when I tell you that people on TikTok are absolutely losing their minds over Ironheart, they're like, oh my God, she's replacing Tony Stark. Oh, she can't do this, she can't do that. And then there was these people that like do reviews of stuff, and they was like, oh, I knew this was gonna be a black show because she has a stepdad. Like we're the only race that have a stepdad. Like 9 times out of 10, your race is notoriously known for having stepdads. Like, come on now, because your dad is really your uncle, okay? But anyway, like your race is notoriously known for having stepdads. But you said you knew this was a black show when she had a stepdad. Like, what is that to say? And then the fact that people on the show, they see this and they read the comments. I mean, the comments. And then y'all, if you see them outside, you're not going to say anything. You're not going to. If you see them out, you're not going to say anything because you're from behind the keyboard. See, being behind the keyboard gives you power because they can not see you. But when you're out and they do see you or you're quiet, you're not going to say anything. And then people are like, oh, I don't think they're judging the show because she's black, or you're just trying to rage bait. No, I'm not trying to rage bait. I'm telling you the truth. I'm seeing people in these comment sections talking about, why is she black? Why is she black? Oh, another woke show. Just go ahead and say this. When you talk about it's being woke, look at the cast. If the cast is a predominantly people of color cast or just an all black cast, yeah, then they'll say it's woke. They don't understand any other word. Exactly. Anyway, but that is all the time I have for y'all today. So tune in next time for another episode of The Christian J Show.